I've analyzed 100 to 200 LinkedIn profiles from those who are working in McKinsey, only to narrow down to 10 of them to completely rip their background off to show you guys what kind of internships you need to do in order to get into McKinsey fresh out of college. Now, McKinsey is one of the best and the most biggest consulting firm out there. It's one of the most prestigious ones to get in because there is a saying, once you're at McKinsey, you are going to graduate and become a CEO and start your own business. You will be set for success for your future. Now, why do I want to do this analysis and what can you learn in this video? Why does it matter? First is the job market is getting more and more competitive year by year. And second, this is the perfect combo. If you can get these type of internships, you will be invincible. You can get a lot of offer, not just from McKinsey, but from a lot of other consulting firms or even investment banks in the future. And this will help you to stay competitive and not to care too much about your recruitment process. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through 3 major analyses in terms of understanding about internships needed to get into McKinsey, specifically the number of internships, the timing of the internship, and also the type of internship that you need to do to be able to stand out and get recruited by McKinsey. Now, with this analysis, first thing I'm going to do is to show you guys how I did it. So what I did was I went to LinkedIn and used it as a major database for this piece of analysis because it has all the information about people, education, the internship. You can also reference the logo. It will allow you to see one specific profile in a very short period of time, and it allows you to do filtering too, which is exactly what I did. So to preferences, the goal for this video is to show those of you guys who are still studying at the university or before you go into university to know what are the pathway and what kind of experience you need in order to get into McKinsey, rather than for those who are finishing MBA, PhD degree, or those who have some years of work experience and looking to transition into McKinsey or big consulting firm in general. This is specifically for students and also graduates. So what I have done is I went through hundreds of profiles. I set pre-existing filters to only focus on those who are, first of all, actually currently working in McKinsey, and they joined as business analysts. They didn't join as a business associate, they didn't join as a consultant or engagement manager, because these pathways are completely different compared to business analyst, which is the graduate-friendly position. Now, the pathway going for associate consultant and also for engagement manager is going to be completely different from the pathway needed to go into business analyst. Second, I've only looked at those profiles who has joined McKinsey in the past 1 to 3 years, so that whatever I have discovered and whatever I am sharing with you guys in this video is going to be relevant and also still useful for you in the next couple of years. I've only looked at the profiles that are UK based. I did not focus on any other European countries or US because the practice of recruitment could be different by office. And since most of us are based in the UK, I only want to focus on UK. I might do a completely different video for those who are based in the US because the recruitment process and what McKinsey is looking for in US might be different from what UK office is looking for. Now, next, I've also only looked at those who joined McKinsey as their first full-time role rather than those who worked in other company for some years and then joined McKinsey. It has to be that McKinsey is the first full-time offer, first full-time job they've ever worked. Just so this is relevant for those who are looking to join McKinsey as their first full-time job as well. Now, I've also only focused on those profiles who have actively recorded their internship experience on LinkedIn. For those who left that section blank, we don't have information on whether they actually did internships or they just did not record it. So we have to discard that data set just to be accurate. As well, I did not include any profiles for those who have done MBA or PhD degrees because the recruitment process for advanced degree holder is completely different for those who are just finishing universities or master degree. So what did I find out in this comprehensive analysis and what can you learn? First, the biggest conclusion I have discovered is that a lot of these people, they have done more than 1 internships. What I mean by that is on average, they have done 2 to 3 internships, which is crazy because a lot of companies only expect you to do just 1 internship, whereas McKinsey, which is the gold standard for all the consulting firms, they on average prefer students that have done more than 1 internship, preferably 2 to 3 internships. As you can see, many of them, they have done more than 2 or even sometimes more than 3, if you also include spring weeks. Now, next, there's an exception as well. For those who have done less than 2 or less than 1 internship, then they got into McKinsey because they did an internship with McKinsey through summer internship program and they receive a return offer, which is self-explanatory, meaning that once you have done the first internship, right, then that internship helps you to get into the second internship with McKinsey itself. And if you do well in that summer internship, then you're going to get a return offer for the full-time job. The only exception is that if you have received a summer internship offer from McKinsey, then you don't have to pack up and ramp up on the number of internships anymore, which happens to a lot of these students. You can see they have done the first internship, right? And then in the second year of their university, they managed to secure the summer internship program from McKinsey, and later on in the next year, they pretty much joined McKinsey straight away. Now, the second thing that I investigated is the timing of their internship, which means when should you start doing internship? How often do you do? Do you always have to do internship during summer? Is there any better time you can also do internship in conjunction with your studies? Now, the finding is that for those who got into McKinsey as their first full-time offer as a business analyst, they always started their first internship in their first year of university. So what that means is a lot of these students, they probably already knew they wanted to get into consulting even before joining university, and they started finding that internship in their first year in their summer internship. As you can see, a lot of students, they started the university and then within the next summer, they already had their first internship done. Now, the next cool finding as well, especially for those who are stacking up the number of internships, imagine how can you possibly squeeze in 4 internships in 2 years, right? Then as you can see here, a lot of them actually have done off-cycle or part-time internships during their term, during their studies. Though most of the internship most students have done, they happen in summer, but quite a few of them, if you want to do the numbers game for internship, they also off-cycle too. So for example, like from February to June or during autumn, but usually these type of internship tend to be more part-time based. Now you have understood how many internships that you should do, when should you do these internships, and the next biggest question is what kind of internship should you look for in order to get into McKinsey level. Now I have ripped apart a lot of these students' background and categorized major industry that they have done their internships in. Now the biggest and the most common one is high finance. A lot of these McKinsey business analysts, they have done their previous internships in high finance, which means investment banking, venture capital, or private equity, and a combination of 2 of them or even 3 of them. So for example, like this one, this person has done a private equity summer analyst. It's a pretty famous PE firm in Europe, and secured a summer internship with McKinsey and received a return offer later on. Similarly, this person has done actually a combination of different internships in consulting, in business development, and also private equity, and in the end, got a full-time offer from McKinsey. Now, apart from high finance, there are also categories of internship that a lot of these analysts have done in the past. Now, the second type of internship that's pretty common is business and the actual consulting internships. So for example, like this person has done a combination of like business analyst consulting internship with Deloitte, as well as investment banking internship with HSBC. Also, another analyst have also worked with insurance company before, capital market, which is again, the front office of investment bank, as well as global assets. Again, it's related to investment firm. So now you might be wondering, what if I don't have background in finance? I don't have any, consulting internship. I couldn't, pass and get any consulting internship. What should I do? My next finding found out that there are still a lot of these analysts that have done internship in growth startups, or some of them even started their own company. For example, like this analyst from McKinsey, she has co-founded her own startup before for 2.5 years, close to 3 years, right? And another analyst have even done like a couple of different, tech startup. It doesn't always have to be like business related tech startup, but this one specifically is property tech startup. So what does that mean is McKinsey actually also value people's innovative thinking and entrepreneurial spirits. They're looking for those who can make an impact and drive project to come to life. And that level of responsibility and accountability / initiative really come from working in hyper growth startups, or even building something successful to a certain scale out of complete scratch. Now, the few exceptions, which is a little bit less common but still help the student to get into McKinsey, the next type of internship is market research and sales. For example, like this analyst has done a market research internship, as well as this one that has actually worked in sales. Because the reason behind that is market research is a common task that a lot of consultants will have to do as part of their research for clients. And if you can master how to research for clients and do a complete comprehensive market research, then you already have very good solid research skills that are needed to compile conclusions and draw recommendations for your clients. And similarly for sales, especially for B2B sales, it requires completely different skill set and also your high level of communication skills to someone who's quite senior. And if you have that skill as in sales, then you can communicate very well and they can trust you in terms of presenting, sharing insights, and also communicating effectively with high stakeholders. Now, with this analysis, the bonus point I have found out as well is the location of this internship, they don't necessarily matter because based on a lot of these experiences, you can see many of them, they are actually not based necessarily in UK, right? If we go back to a lot of these experiences, you can see some of them, they're based in Italy, some of them based in Hong Kong, some of these internships are based in Mumbai, right? But the key thing here in terms of location of the internship, the last and the most recent one should always be based in London or the office that you're actually applying to. So at the end of this analysis, what does that mean for all of you guys? That means there are 3 key takeaways I want you guys to understand and also implement in your internship searching journey. First is to do more internship, ideally aim for 2 to 3 internships during your undergraduate study. Second is to start your internship as early as possible. You should ideally start doing internship in your first year. The more you can stack, the better it is. As well, the third point is to do better internship. You can start with like BD or sales, business development, or sales related role, or market research. Then you can also diversify your experience as well to work on startup. But ultimately, these 2 are going to be the most relevant and the most useful internships that will help you to get into McKinsey, which is consulting and high finance, right? And P.S. if you're not from a target school, meaning if you're not from the top 10 universities in the UK, then you should do all of the above or even more if you're not from target school and you want to get into MBB, specifically McKinsey. So these are the key findings I have taken out from this piece of analysis on linking, and hopefully this is going to give you a lot more information of what you need to do in terms of internship in order to break into high ranking and tier 1 consulting strategy consulting firms like McKinsey. And another mindset change I want you guys to also take away from, especially if you're in your first year or second year student and you're completely confused, you don't really know which one is the best for you, you're scared if you're making the wrong move, what if my first internship is something is not going to help me, right? Just make that move, because there are 2 things you need to remember. First, having internship is always better than not having internship. Second, 80% of the people, after they have done their first internship, they're gonna realize this is not something for them. And based on my analysis, the first internship is always different from the full-time role that they end up doing. So the mindset you should have for doing your first internship is always, let's just give it a try and see if this is something that I don't like it. At least I know, and I wouldn't invest another 1 to 5 years just working full-time in that area. So the mindset you should have with internship is, these are the shortest time I have to try and error, to understand if this is something I like, to pivot and then try different things and also accumulate valuable experiences that I will learn and that will help me to get into competitive industries. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's any other analysis you want me to do and want me to publish on YouTube. And if you are still struggling with your application, you can also work with me and my team, and there's a link in the description that you can click to apply to work with us. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.